I love strip clubs. Oh my God. It's the lights, the lack of lights, I guess. The music, the weird pattern carpets, the athleticism. Women are fucking incredible. And when I go to strip clubs, whoever I'm with, I have to tell them my signals, right? So a big one for me, when I'm sitting up at the stage, which is 90% of the fucking time, and I go like this. Oh, excuse me. Hold. When I am like this, right? This means I want a gin and tonic, 2 limes, and $100 in ones. Beep, beep, beep. I fucking all night. Because if you're not tipping aggressively, get the fuck out. I'm at this club in New Orleans, and let me tell you that Creole coochie and Bayou boobies got my gumbo going. I'm so sorry. I'm hungry and I need a nap, and I'll see myself out. That was cringy.
The shot didn't come from that building behind me. It came from back there behind the fence on the grassy knoll. That's where the man was, not the book depository. Remember that.
Here's the Triple B&JOEB, and the Triple B, baby, Triple B&JOEB, rock, cock, and Joe Morelli. Triple B&JOEB, JOEB, and the Triple B, baby, Triple B&JOEB, rock, cock, and Joe Morelli. We're coming in, only seeking the truth about JFK. It's the Lone Gunman Podcast crew. Tell 'em, Joe, here we go.
And here we go.
That's right, Joseph. Once again, it's Friday night. You know what that means. Another exciting edition live of the Lone Gunman Podcast here on the YouTubes. Tonight, we're going to be talking about...
Time to party. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Pull out your little whirligigs and hit the streamers, kids. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the other side of Elm Street, the one that nobody likes to talk about or doesn't talk about very much. But we're going to tonight. Because, you know, there were witnesses on that side of the street that we can identify that aren't lying about who they were. But I digress. We'll get there. Promise you. Before we get going and cooking and hot and heavy into this subject, though, first of all, Joe, let me get the clappings ready. There's the horn.
Oh, I was golf clapping.
There's your golf clap. And hang on a second. I got to spray a little splooging out here. If I can find it. We had some. Oh, there it is. You know why? Because the Double B just gifted 5 memberships.
Yes. Thank you, the Double B. And for the audio listeners only, the Triple B is splooging a bunch of confetti on the video stream. So
it's raining down all over us.
Yes, we're not being inappropriate just to be, although we like to.
It's like David Ferry, flying everywhere.
Let's see who got them. Matthew Bates. I didn't get one because I got one last week.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, thank God. T. Logan. Andrea got one. Leo. And NK. And get the horn ready because the Double B came through second time.
Shit, hold on. That deserves 2 horns.
It does.
And more splooge on. Here we go.
You have to get. You have to get
It's only hitting my face. It's not. It's like barely getting on Joe's shoulder.
Yeah. Oh, you know, you can
face. Oh, that's fine.
You never know where it's going to go, right? Better on your face than my shoulder. Better on your face than my shoulder. But no, we're being silly. That's what we like to do, and we like to talk JFK. And yeah, we're going to talk about the witnesses on the other side of the street today. So before we start, let me say hi to everyone. Obviously, Double B, we say hi to Sally. Hello.
Hello, Sally.
Mr. Tony Holman.
Big Tone.
Scott Edwards. What up, what up?
Hello, Scott.
Scott, are you, he's ready for action. Are you, I'm not sure if you're going to Lancer this year because you're not local to there. And, but if you are, let me know. Peaches, what's up, Peaches?
What's up, man?
Asteroid coming. What up?
So is David Ferry.
Jack Taylor, what's up? What's up? Paul Lanichi, thank you for expanding my brain.
Anytime, sir. That's what we do.
Yeah. we try, or we do the opposite.
Your brain, your head will just explode.
Zendar 61, what's up, bud? Glenn Rocks.
What'd
Mr.
you say, Glenn Rocks?
Glenn Rocks, yeah.
Yes. Glenn does rock.
Yes. South to West, what up, what up?
South to West. STW.
We are all caught up.
Oh, shit. All right. And we have a major announcement, folks.
We do.
That means one. Listen up, people.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a major announcement going on here on the channel.
Major.
Now, many moons ago, and the people who are channel members found out about this on Wednesday night. But all of you need to know as well. So, some months ago, when we decided we were going to somewhat boycott Lancer this year, Joe had the bright idea of having a research month here on the Lone Gunman Podcast, where we feature and focus on independent research. People that are doing great work on their own. And I agreed. I said, that's a good idea, Joe. We should probably do that.
All right.
Since we do like 2 conference presentations every week, me and Joe are kind of presentation out, if you will.
Yeah.
But we do have one for you.
Mm-hmm.
So after this week, folks, after tonight, starting next Friday night, which I know is Halloween, you don't have to watch it live. The show will not be live, but I'm going to set it as an instant premiere at the usual time for 7 p.m. Okay, we're going to pre-record the show because some of us have to take small children trick-or-treating, or some of us like to creepily hang out on our front porch and hand out candy to little kids.
And seeing as you or I don't have little children, I guess that leaves only one option.
Yes. You have to love those teenage girls who just look too old to be trick-or-treating, Joe. God.
Right. No, that's a good curb your enthusiasm thing. When some older girls came to his door, and he's like, "How old are you?" And they were like 12. He's like, "I don't think so." And he refused to give them candy.
Yeah, hard ass.
It's great.
So starting next week, we're going to do our first presentation for our independent research month, if you will, is what we're calling it, but it's actually 6 weeks long. It's not just a month. It's just easier to call it a month instead of
6 weeks.
So starting next Friday night,
that's 7.
We are going to be having James Day and Paul Cummings back on the show to, I believe, finish discussing the cleaning truck deal, which they managed to squeeze out, I think, 3 more parts on over on Medium, and maybe get into a little bit of Jack Ruby and the General Walker shooting connections, possibly. The following week, we will be live 11/7, November 7th, with Carmine Savastano. And we will be talking about the murder of Sam Giancana, folks. The week after that, we will be live with Ed Ledoux. we're going to be talking about the Davis sisters, witnesses to the Tippit shooting, and a little bit of Dial Rider, the guy who supposedly affixed a sight on a rifle for Oswald, or there was a repair ticket found in his shop or something like that. I have no idea, but Ed will tell us. And I'm a little excited. This lineup is
Yeah.
getting me aroused a little bit,
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah, but do the confetti over it.
Well,
Can you?
easy now.
Uh,
Easy now.
Well, confetti definitely for what we have planned on 11/21.
Yeah, so 11/21, Joe will be at the conference that we are boycotting this year. Live, along with our esteemed lovely channel member Paula Jane.
Yes.
And I'm sure she will speak better than Joe will. And we're going to get a little recap of what happened at the conference on Friday from Joe and Paula.
Yep.
And
little recap of the day Friday. Yep, for sure. And she definitely can speak better than me, for sure.
Yes. And then Joe and I will be doing our own little independent research deal for you guys that we've been working on for the past couple months in secret, in toto. It's going to be a banger. We're just telling you. Would we let you down, folks? Did we let you down for the Martin show? Who digs deeper than your boys?
Not
when we get to focus.
Not many.
Not many. And this year,
there's a few. There's a few. Not many.
This year will be no exception. So we got something special planned for you, but we're not going to tell you the topic yet because, well, I gave the members a clue, and I guess I'll give everybody here a clue as well. And this is the only one you're going to get. April 8th, 1963. There's your clue. Now, the week after that, 11/27. Okay, that's to be announced. Okay, because Joe is supposed to procure us a guest whilst at Lancer. And if he does not procure us a guest, what was your punishment? I forget.
I don't know. What was it?
It was something good.
Do I have to do it by myself or no? What was it? I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but it was a good one.
I'm sure a member will remind us.
Oh yeah, I think I told you had to find somebody. If not, you're gonna present by yourself or something like that.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to come up with a topic and let me know.
Okay.
So that's to be announced, and then the week after that, folks.
Wait, is 11/27 Turkey Day? Interesting.
No.
Well, why did Trey say this?
Someday Joe will realize that Thanksgiving happens on Thursday every year.
It is Thursday.
What?
Oh, never. Oh, yeah. So you have it one day off. Okay.
Do I?
Yeah. 11/28 TBA.
Well, I blame whoever made this graphic.
Yes. Which is me.
Or me.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay.
Black Friday is what we're talking about here, folks. Not Thanksgiving Day.
Thank you, Trey, for pointing that out.
Yeah. Thanks, Trey. Old Eagle Eye over there. Shreveport Eagle Eye.
Okay.
Hopefully the 5th is the right date for that Friday after that. For Larry Hancock and David Boylan. Finally,
it is correct.
Finally getting David on the show. And if Joe does not twist Boylan's arm enough to come on the show, Joe will be publicly humiliated here live on YouTube with a ruler.
Yeah, no, that is a great finale, right? I mean, who better than Larry Hancock and David Boylan, two of researchers that I definitely hold in huge regard.
Where do you hold them?
Hall of Fame level, gold jacket level, gold jacket, blue jacket, green jacket. Who gives a shit?
So we got some bangers coming up for you folks after tonight.
Yeah.
It begins next week. Like I said, next week we will not be live. The show will be live for you. We will not. We will probably be there in spirit, maybe in the chat along with you guys as you watch along, but we will be recording the show ahead of time because of Halloween. Other than that, they're going to be live. So
Yeah.
that's what's coming, folks.
Trey's going to go as David Ferry this year. If you do that, I will fly to Shreveport and give you a hug. And no homo. That would be awesome. Fake eyebrows. That would be hilarious. But yeah, that we've worked a couple months behind the scenes to come up with this lineup, and it started as 1 month, ended up being 6 weeks. I will find someone at Lancer, and I'm looking forward to it, man.
We told James Day we'd have him back to finish up. Seemed like a good time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we really liked having James and Paul on the show, so they were definitely invited back. Carmine, as you know, longtime friend of the show, friend of ours. It's been a while. We want to have him back on. We're going to have him back on. And Ed Ledoux, again, longtime friend of the show.
I can't wait to talk to him, man.
Always produces banger after banger after banger when he comes on here. So, and he doesn't go on and do other podcasts, folks. He's kind of like an exclusive get. Yeah. And we couldn't be more thrilled about that. So that's the lineup. That's what's coming up. But tonight, again, we're going on the other side of Elm Street, Joe. Who in the Sam Hill was on the other side of the road, Joe? Let's look here.
Yes.
Get that comment out of the way real quick, please.
Oh, yes. Yeah, sorry. I'm
that's all right.
Highlighting Double B saying, if I don't get someone for week 5 of 6, your ass is grass. Yes.
Yes, you and Brandon can do the show while I watch. Okay. As you can see here, we have a photo from somebody I don't know. Maybe Skaggs, I think. Maybe it's a still from the Much More film. Who the hell knows? But
Alex
it is, yeah. But it is from that day. Now, what you'll see here, folks, is Officer Joe Smith, right? And his little short legs and his baggy pants taking off and heading for the grassy knoll from his position that was further up Elm Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, why it appears he looks like he is running across the grassy promenade or whatever you call this area that's in between of Elm and Main. We'll just call it the grassy area henceforth. So he's headed that way. All right. Across the street, you can see the Newmans have hit the deck, Jack, right? They've hit the ground running. Okay. Now, you can see 3 motorcycle cops in this picture. 2 are on their motorbikes. 1 has parked his bike and has possibly removed his helmet. Okay. Now, standing up directly in front of the bike that is parked in a brown raincoat and a babushka on her head is the infamous babushka lady.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I apologize for us not having a first day statement or a Garrison investigation statement or an HSCA investigation statement or an ARRB statement from the babushka lady, the legit babushka lady. I'm not talking about old Beverly Oliver because she's not it. Okay. She's a big fraud and a liar, and I'm sorry if you think otherwise, but that's the truth. I apologize.
And we did a really interesting segment on the Babushka Lady maybe earlier this year, 20 episodes, 30, 40, 50 ago. I don't know. But we did.
A gazillion.
Yeah.
Because if you look at our graphic here, and if you look at the colored version of the Babushka Lady, all the way on the right, you can tell that is not a 17-year-old bottle blonde dancer. Okay, folks? It's just not. It's some middle-aged lady. There's a little hefty on the hefty side. And I'm not mad at her. Okay? But it's not Beverly Oliver. It just is not, folks.
Rob, we all know it's a Rothschild. We all know this. But we'll bypass that subject.
Yeah, it's June Cobb. Okay. Back to the picture at hand. Okay. So right behind the Babushka Lady's ass, you have Charles Brim and his 5-year-old son. They are seated on the ground. Brim is using his son as a shield for more possible shots coming from the 6th floor of the depository building. Okay.
Well, Rob, you know, something interesting that I found out this week is that Brem was not only in World War II in Normandy, but was a U.S. Army Ranger.
Yeah, and he was shot.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah,
which is so him, you know, covering his son is, you know,
that was a joke, Joe. I said
I know. I just wanted to point out that interesting that fact because I had no idea.
As you can see where his son is seated, his son is in between himself and the depository building. That's why I make the joke.
Yes.
So if he was truly thought that the shots were coming from that building, maybe he would put his son behind him. I don't know. Maybe cover him up a little bit.
Well, I think the shots had ended by that time, no?
Well, you know, they're still on the ground. The Newmans are still prone.
Well, the Newmans stayed prone forever.
Because they're getting their picture taken.
Yeah, that's
Don't get up yet. Hold on. This is a Pulitzer Prize type shit, folks.
Yeah.
Don't move. Okay, back to the photo.
Okay.
So, to the rear of the parked motorcycle in the middle of Elm Street, you see someone crouching in a red coat. That would be Jean Hill, folks.
Jean Hill.
The figure in the dark coat beside her, sitting on the ground, would be Mary Mormon.
Yep, just to her right.
Who famously took the Mormon photograph of the grassy knoll at the instant the president was shot in the head. Now, we're going to take a look at a couple more angles of this whole deal, right? Because it's kind of hard to figure out where in the hell everybody was standing from all these different angles and at different times. Okay. So this is 5 frames roughly before JFK gets his head blown off.
Right.
This is a still from the Zapruder film. You can see Mary Mormon and Jean Hill standing towards the rear of the limousine. Jackie is checking on JFK. This is mere seconds before, go boom. Mormon's got her camera up to her face, getting ready to take her iconic picture. All right. So we've got that. And then we got this. Now, this is interesting. This has to be sometime after the shots. Okay. I wish I could blow this up a little more, but as you can see, red coat towards the bottom. That's Jean Hill. She even autographed this picture right under where she's standing. And it says Jean Hill. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
there are some of these floating around on eBay of like all different assassination witnesses. It's interesting.
it appears that Brim and his son are on their feet all the way to the left side of the photograph. And there are people starting to head up the grassy knoll towards the corner of the fence line up near the overpass. See them?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The Newmans are no longer on the ground either.
Oof, finally.
Thank God they finally let them up. Holy shit. Okay. Now, this is a little bit of a closer version. Now we can see the motorcycle cop does not have his helmet off. His helmet is on. The guy that dismounted.
Yeah,
right?
just because it's like overlapping the cement.
Yeah, it kind of blends in with the stairs.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, we can see Brim and his son. We got the Babushka lady, and we got Mormon and Hill. Boom, right? This is 2 frames after the last one we saw of the Z film. 3 more frames. Head goes boom. We're almost there.
Yeah. They have not hit the ground yet, Hill and Mormon.
Right. Now, this one is interesting. Head has gone boom. Clint Hill has just reached the limousine. Jackie's about ready to get the fuck out of there and start crawling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's an interesting figure, Joe, towards the front of the limousine, holding a camera up to his face. See that?
I do. I was just going to ask you, who are they?
Well, I'll tell you who that is, Joe. That would be James Ike Altgens.
Oh, the Altgens photos. Okay.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is I want to know who the guy, the fat guy, is right above Jackie, because it looks like that dude's got a camera too.
Yeah, to the left of Altgens. Yeah.
But I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
If anybody else knows who that is out there, enlighten me, please.
Yeah. Or we'll ask Alex and follow up.
Because I believe we'll talk about Altgens, but he took his famous Altgens 6 photograph of the limousine where Kennedy was hitting the throat, and you can kind of see through the window, and you can see the Oswald figured in the doorway, who is Billy Lovelady, and all of that stuff. And then he should have taken a picture right here, but I think the shot startled him, and he didn't. If he would have clipped his camera at this moment, he would have gotten an iconic photograph. Right. Instead, his Altgens 7 photograph is of the rear of the limousine after it passed him after the headshot, as it is heading towards the triple overpass. But if he had clicked something right here, money, because he had a damn good camera, right?
Right.
All right, now let's go in.
It reminds me of that guy that caught the Butler Trump assassination bullet in midair. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy.
All right. Here's a little bit of a. I think this is from the Much More. I think this is a Much More still. Mm-hmm. All right, so the Babushka lady and her staunch thighs. It looks like she's got a camera up to her face, right? You see Charles Brim right in front of her, kind of to her right. He's got a bald spot and a beige jacket on. Mm-hmm. And then to the left, you got Jean Hill in her iconic red coat. Yeah. You can barely see Mary Mormon's black coat. Yeah. This is right almost at the instant that Mary Mormon takes her photograph, right?
Right. Couple seconds, like milliseconds before. Almost, probably.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are all iconic images, Joe.
They are.
Let's take a look at something else here. So, This is a panel that was made, I think, for the Warren Commission. And it's of some frames from the Zapruder film, of course. And you can see at the top, the third one over, you see Charles Brim's young son and him, and the Babushka lady standing like right behind him.
Right.
And Jean Hill in her red coat, and as Zapruder is panning, you see brims kind of drop out, and you see Gene Hill and Mary Mormon coming more into the picture.
Yes.
And then right down from Mary Mormon and Gene Hill, you would have Ike Altgens, which we can't see right now.
Right. To the right, as we're looking at it.
Yes, as it goes
To their
by.
left. Yeah.
Yeah, to their left, our right. Yes. So let's start with Gene Hill, Joe.
Let's do that.
First day affidavit.
Well, I was thinking, Rob, let's start with the video and then go to the affidavit. Or
No, that's fine. You mean her first interview?
yeah. 11:22.
This
What do
is on TV?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see what Jean had to say. And by the way, Jean, not a bad looking lady. Back in the day,
Or Mormon. They're both cuties.
I'm getting Ruth Payne vibes off of Jean Hill, though, a little bit.
It's not a terrible analogy.
Jean Hill, and when she turns, after she turns like 60, not so much. But early Jean Hill, yeah.
All right, let's do that. Let's see. I'll let you judge for yourselves. Only 2 minutes and 26 seconds. And this is courtesy of David Von Payne's JFK channel, which is
David
a great...
Von Penis, notorious lone nutter. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, well, he has a lot of great videos. That's for sure.
And a horrible name. Go ahead.
This is Mrs. Jean Hill of Dallas. Could you tell us what you saw?
Yes, Mary and I had come down to see the president this morning, and we tried to get a place where the president, and toward us, he was on our side of the street, and the president and Mrs. Kennedy were in the back seat. They had a little dog between them looking at it, and just as the car came right in line with us, the president looked up, and just as he looked up, 2 shots rang out, and he grabbed his chest, and this real odd look came over his face, and he pitched forward onto her lap. And she jumped up over him at that and screamed and said, "My God, he's been shot." And there was just an instantaneous, sort of an instant's pause, and in the motorcade it momentarily halted, and 3 or 4 more shots rang out, and they sped away real quickly. And by that time, I became aware of Mary tugging on my foot, saying, "Get down, they're shooting." And it hadn't registered. I'd been so busy looking at the president.
So you were in a very advantageous spot to see the president.
To see the president, but also to get shot.
How do you feel now? It's been several hours later. You've talked to the police. You've given your story several times. Do you still believe that something like this really did happen to you?
I don't think I ever could have believed it unless I had actually seen it. And when I saw the look come across his face, I knew that he'd been hit. But I don't think I could have believed it if I hadn't been right there and hadn't seen it.
Well, you're going to have to talk to the FBI now, and I understand you have some home chores as well.
Breakfast dishes and everything.
I think there are an awful lot of homes here in Dallas that have breakfast dishes to be done today.
Well, that's right. But I made a call to my friend in Oklahoma, and he told our governor of Oklahoma right away. Guess that's the first thing I wanted to do, was get those people in Oklahoma told about it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that is Jean Hill, and she says 2 shots and then 4 more shots. You're muted, sir.
Fuck me running. This is just another example of how an eyewitness that is mere 10 feet away, if that, from the limousine, can be so incredibly wrong about facts. first it's the president and Jackie are talking to a dog in the back seat. Okay, like what the fuck? There was a puppet, Lamb Chop. Okay, that she might have mistaken for a dog, not a real dog, a puppet that was given to Jackie at Love Field, along with some roses. I doubt they were looking at it or playing with it, or maybe Jackie had it on her hand and was rubbing JFK's thigh. Who knows what's going on in the limo?
Really? I did not know that.
Who knows?
Oh, I'm saying.
I'm joking.
You could have sold me. I'm saying.
You never know what Gene Hill saw, but like you said, she said, that she heard a shot and he's clutching his chest, but he was actually clutching his throat.
Right.
He pitched over, and then Jackie started to climb out, or the limousine stopped. Jackie started to climb out. Then three or four more shots rang out. But I get it. People in that situation who are not used to this stuff, their brains like freak out, right? Because you're not expecting something like this to happen. And when it does happen, it fries your brain momentarily. And when you look back on things, if you're not used to being in that situation,
Comment of the night.
You're gonna get some facts wrong,
Right.
And you're gonna be misremembering kind of the sequence of events. This is why, while eyewitnesses are important to things, you have to take what they say with a grain of salt.
100%. There are always going to be anomalies. Always. With any case. Today, look at Charlie Kirk, look at anything. There's always going to be that shit.
Apart every eyewitness, including Ed Hoffman, because even though he's sitting right there, he's a zillion miles away from what he's looking at, you're still going to get some things wrong, and it's up to us to try to figure out what everybody saw, because as you're going to see, a lot of these witnesses have very different stories despite standing 2 feet away from each other.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell? So, that being said, what in the hell did Gene Hill tell the Dallas Sheriff's Office?
All right. Well, I will show you right now. So, and this is her, Mrs. Jean Hills, the very cute lady in red, 1122 DPD affidavit. Mary and I, of course, Mormon, were wanting to take some pictures of the president, so we purposely tried to find a place that was open where no people were around, and we had been standing halfway down toward the underpass on Elm Street on the south side. We were the only people in that area.
You weren't.
And by the way, in her book later, Rob, she says we had to smooth some police officers to get in there.
Right. Sure you did.
I know. So this is why we're only focusing on day of DPD and FBI statements and interviews. The president's car came around the corner, and it was over on our side of the street just as Mary Mormon started to take a picture. We were looking at the president and Jackie in the back seat, and they were looking at a little dog between them. Okay, consistent. Just as at least she's consistent for now on that day. I saw the president grab his chest and fall forward across Jackie's lap, and she fell across his back and said, "My God, he has been shot." And we have heard that phrase repeated by, I believe, Connolly's wife.
Yep.
Right?
They're close enough to the limo to hear this.
Right.
But they're getting major facts wrong.
Yeah. There was an instant pause between the first two shots and the motorcade seemingly halted for an instant, and 3 or 4 more shots rang out, and the motorcade sped away. So this isn't a misspeak like I do every 2 seconds here. She's saying this in an interview and in her official affidavit.
Yeah, she gave this first, then she went on TV.
Then she talked to the FBI.
Well, no, she had to go home and do dishes first, Joe.
Oh yeah, you're
Like every good woman should do.
Ugh.
Get your ass in the kitchen. Make me a sandwich. It's 1961
in Dallas. I thought I saw some men in plain clothes shooting back, but everything was such a blur. Yeah, I agree with you there. And Mary was pulling on my leg, saying, "Get down, Theory." Oh, they are. I think it's a typo. They are shooting. I looked across the street and up the hill and saw a man running towards the monument, and I started running over there. By the time I got up to the railroad tracks, some policemen that I suppose were in the motorcade or nearby had also arrived and was turning us back. And I came back down the hill, Mr. Featherstone. As I came back down the hill, Mr. Featherstone of the Times Herald had gotten to Mary and asked for her picture she had taken of the president.
Maybe that's who the chubby guy was behind them.
Could have been.
Mr. Featherstone, I presume.
I
It looks like a big, stupid thumbprint all over the most important picture in American history, you asshole.
Right. It does sound like the name of that Scafusa there. And he brought us to the press room down, spelled wrong, at the sheriff's office and asked to stay. Okay. That is the DPD, which happened first. Now we'll go to the FBI. This is 11/23, but it was actually taken in day before, 11/22, November 22nd. Gene Hill stated on November 22nd, 63, was standing on Elm Street in the vicinity of TSBD, observing the party composed of the president, his wife, Connolly, blah, 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 blah. Gene Hill advised she heard something like a rifle shot and observed Kennedy crumple in his seat in the automobile. She was standing nearby as the automobile was passing the spot where she stood at the time. And this is all of it.
That FBI statement is leaving out a lot of shit that she told the Dallas sheriffs, right?
You took the words right out of my mouth, bro.
Like, what the hell, man? I mean, there's more bullshit about what she was doing. You know, I was standing on Elm Street observing the presidential party composed of the president of the United States, and so on and so forth. I mean, that entire paragraph is longer than her statement.
Right. And you said this a few weeks ago. You said, listen, we're not going to defend the DPD, but they did do some things right.
Well, I don't know that they questioned her. They just had her write a statement out. And
right. Which was and didn't edit it. I'm saying they did do some things right. I'm not defending them.
No, the FBI did it differently. They questioned the witness. They probably asked her, "What did you see and hear that day?" She said that, and then they were like, "Okay, thanks.
Right.
We'll call you if we need you."
And it's at their discretion what they write in the report.
Yes.
Right.
Now, do you have the next one?
Who would the next one be?
64.
I'm sorry?
March 13th, 64.
I don't have that one.
Oh, well, good thing I do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. In an interview on March 13th by Special Agents K.J. Robertson and Thomas Trettis Jr., Mrs. Jean Lawless Hill stated that after President Kennedy was shot and after the shooting stopped, she recalled that she noticed a white man wearing a brown raincoat and a hat went away from the school book depository in the direction of the railroad tracks. Now, this is in direct contrast to what she said before, where she said she saw a man running from the hill towards the depository. It's two different directions. One's that way and one's that way.
Mhm.
But okay. The following investigation was conducted at Dallas, Texas by Special Agent Robertson in an attempt to establish the identity of this person, this white man, seen running away from the depository towards the train tracks, according to Gene Hill. So, on March 27, 1964, a review of the newspaper clippings of the November 22nd issue of the Dallas Times-Herald disclosed the following information. Patrolman W.E. Barker saw workers in the school book depository building peeking out a window from the third floor and pointing to a man wearing horn-rimmed glasses, a plaid coat, and a raincoat. On April 1st, Patrolman Barker, Dallas police, advised the newspaper article was an error as the location of the people tapping on the window in an attempt to attract his attention to a man standing on Elm Street shortly after the assassination of Kennedy. Patrolman Barker stated the people were in the warehouse east of the school book depository building, and the man was standing south of this building on Elm Street between the warehouse and the Dallas County office building. We'll get there, I promise. This is very fucking confusing. He stated the man was taken to the Dallas County Sheriff's Office for questioning and released insomuch as no basis for any allegation against this person was ever established. What we're talking about here, folks, is the arrest of Larry Floor out of the Dow Tex building for no other reason other than people in some window in some building on some floor were pointing at him after they got an officer's attention by tapping on their window. Whatever that means. He further stated the man was taken to the sheriff's office some 15 minutes after the president was shot and could not possibly have been the person observed by Gene Hill because of the time lag and the fact the man was not wearing and did not possess a hat. March 30th, 1964, Captain Lawrence of the Dallas Police Department advised that a review of his file fails to disclose any information that would assist in identifying a man wearing a brown raincoat and a hat observed running west away from the depository building on November 22nd, 1963.
Okay.
Immediately after the president was shot, Captain Lawrence stated that Patrolman W.E. Barnett, welcome Barnett, and Joe Smith were assigned to work the intersection of Houston and Elm Streets on the date the presidential motorcade. Patrolman James Foster was assigned to work on the east side of the railroad overpass over Elm, Main, and Commerce Streets. Foster, Patrolman Traffic Accident Squad, advised he arrived at his station on November 22nd at 10:10 a.m., took up a point on the railroad overpass overlooking the triple intersection. Patrolman Foster stated he remained at this station until after President Kennedy was shot, and he immediately thereafter surveyed the area where he was stationed and observed the area west of the book depository leading towards the railroad tracks, and in no time did he see any white dude wearing a brown raincoat and a hat. On March 31st, 1964, Mr. Roger Craig, Deputy Sheriff, Civil Department, Dallas County Sheriff's Office, advised he was on Houston, just south of Elm, on November 22nd when Kennedy was shot. He stated he observed the crowds standing on Houston and Elm Streets, and at no time did he observe any white person wearing a brown raincoat and a hat. Patrolman Welcome Barnett, Dallas Police Department, advised he was assigned to work on traffic at the intersection of Houston and Elms and arrived at his station at approximately 10 a.m. and remained there until relieved on the afternoon of this date. stated that he was the policeman referred to as being contacted by Mrs. Jean Hill on that date at the book depository building, and he remembers repairing her cigarette lighter on that date. He stated he did not know who the hell this woman was and did not know her name, but did remember the incident and remembers observing Mrs. Hill and another woman standing on the grassy slope of the south side of Elm Street at the time of the motorcade. Barnett stated he observed the crowd at this location immediately after Kennedy was shot, after the car in which Kennedy was riding had left the area. Hard not to notice the hot chick whose cigarette lighter has broken, wearing all red from head to toe, Joe.
Right.
Excuse me, Mr. Officer, can you fix my cigarette lighter, sir, please? I just can't get it. I just can't get it lit.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Sure, man. That's what we do here. President's just been shot. Hold on a second. I got a screwdriver in my pocket.
And why don't you just ask? Listen, like if you need to smoke a cigarette after you
got a light.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you ask anyone to fix your lighter?
She really needed a cigarette, Joe.
I know, but just ask for a light. Not, can you fix my lighter?
Wanted her own light. Maybe she. I don't know. There's back then that took flints, cotton,
right,
and lighter fluid. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I used to smoke cigarettes. If I needed a light, I would ask, "Do you have a light?" Not, "Can you fix my lighter?" That's my only point. You know what I mean? Like,
it was a damsel in distress, Joe, all dressed in red.
Yeah, she probably planned on having a few
I
more.
know you got better things to do, like hunt down killers and all, but I really need my cigarette lighter fixed. You're supposed to serve and protect.
Yeah, that's serving. That's for sure.
That's right. Several persons in this area rushed to the spot based on this woman's information, which was later proven false. But he did not observe anyone in a brown raincoat either, or a hat, running west at this time. And lastly, Joe Smith, Officer Smith, Patrolman Smith, advised that he'd been assigned to work traffic, blah, blah, blah. He stated that immediately after President Kennedy was shot, he ran from the intersection to the west edge of the School Book Depository building in an attempt to locate the assassin or establish any other information that would lead to the identification of the assassin. He stated at no time did he observe a man wearing a brown raincoat and hat running west away from the School Book Depository building in the direction of the railroad tracks on this date. Now, Joseph.
Are you mad at me?
No.
Oh, you only call me Joseph when you're mad at me.
I'm trying to make
I know.
In some photos taken of the area of the knoll after the shots, right? And mainly the ones I'm talking about are the ones that kind of show the babushka lady walking across Elm Street towards the grassy knoll. To her left is a figure that is wearing a brown raincoat and a hat and sunglasses, who people have said, look, it's E. Howard Hunt in Dealey Plaza. Okay. So maybe there was somebody in Dealey Plaza wearing a brown raincoat, a hat on that day, but was not connected to shooting anyone from anywhere near the book depository or the railroad tracks. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah. And I think we went over all those claims. I think we did an episode on like the man in the tan sport coat, right?
Yep. Now they interviewed the FBI, interviewed Jean Hill again, Joe, on March 17th, 1964. 4 days after the last time they did. Because obviously, you know,
there are some problems with what she said, and they have to tie things up.
Exactly. So when they talked to her again on March 17th, that is St. Patrick's Day, allegedly. While waiting for the motorcade to arrive at this location, Mrs. Hill and Mary Ann Mormon walked around the parkway area near the school book depository in attempts to determine the best vantage spot for taking photographs of the president. When in actuality, these two cougars were they're trying to get pictures of two of the motorcycle cops that they had a crush on. Okay.
I have to.
That's why they were there. They weren't there to see the president. I mean, maybe.
Rob, I have to push back on you on this.
Why?
Because I would classify them as not cougars.
Well,
I'm joking. I'm joking with you.
What do you call a 20-year-old cougar? I mean, they're on the prowl. You know what I mean?
These days, the kids call it a baddie. And for the 63, they're baddies.
Okay. These two baddies were there. That's the president. But to look hot and get some pictures of some motorcycle cops, I think it was B.J. Martin and one of the other Stufuzas.
Yeah, I think we might hear it in one of the next clips. I think Mary Mormon is the next clip, and she might name one of them, I think.
All right, so Mrs. Hill said she recalls talking to a uniformed policeman near the entrance of the book depository. This is when she was getting her cigarette lighter fixed, folks. Mrs. Hill noticed an automobile circling the area. The windows of the vehicle were covered with cardboard, and the name Honest Joe's Pawn Shop was painted on the side of the car. Mrs. Hill made a remark about the automobile, and the policeman told her the driver had permission to drive that piece of shit in that area. This car also had a gigantic machine gun mounted on the top of it that did not fit, apparently, hopefully.
Right.
Just before the motorcade appeared, Mormon and Hill were standing on the lawn in the area between Main and Elm, opposite the entrance of the book depository, although they were way down Elm Street. They were not right across the street from the depository.
Right.
Mormon was taking photographs of the motorcade as it came into view, and when the car occupied by Kennedy was passing, Mrs. Hill recalls shouting, "Hey!" She stated that President Kennedy was looking down when she shouted because he's been shot in the throat. And when he turned to look at her, a shot rang out and he slumped towards Mrs. Kennedy. Mrs. Hill heard more shots ring out and saw the hair on the back of President Kennedy's head fly up. She stated she thought Mrs. Kennedy cried out, "Oh my God, he's been shot." As the president fell forward into his seat, Mrs. Hill knew he had been hit by a bullet. Hill stated that she heard from 4 to 6 shots in all and believes they came from a spot just west of the school book depository building. That would be the knoll, folks. Although they make it seem like just west.
Right, yeah.
No, it's west, okay?
Yeah, they definitely messed with the wording there, for sure.
She thought there was a slight time interval between the first 3 shots, Joe, and the remaining 3 or 4 shots.
Wow. I don't know if there were 7, but I am pretty sure there was more than 3.
When the firing finally stopped, Mrs. Hill noticed that everyone in the vicinity seemed to be in a trance, wondering what the fuck just happened. Right?
Hey, that's natural. Sure.
Well, it is.
Sure.
Mrs. Hill recalled it was then that she noticed the white man wearing a brown raincoat and a hat running west from the school book depository building in the direction of the railroad tracks. She said she does not know why, but she started across the street in an effort to see who he was. And in doing so, she ran into the front of a motorcycle escort following the president's car and was nearly hit by one of the policemen. Mrs. Hill said she lost the man from view when she looked down at what she first thought was a blood spot, but later determined to be a red snow cone melted.
Wait, what?
Yeah, remember this was a puddle of blood from the reporter Jerry Coley at the top of the steps that
Yeah.
turns out it was either red soda or a melted snow cone because he tasted it and it tastes,
Oh yeah, he stuck his finger in it, right? And
yeah,
we made fun of yeah.
Is that blood? Let me check. Yep, tastes like copper. It's blood.
It's sweet. It's a snow cone.
Just snow cone syrup. It's all good. Damn kids. All right.
Oh man.
Now, what's interesting here, Joe,
Okay.
is if you marry up Jean Hill's story with, oh, damn it, the name is escaping me.
On the other side?
No. This was a guy who said that he was going to the building that was under construction, right, on the corner of like Maine and Houston. And he heard shots ring out in Dealey Plaza and turned around and looked like he was going there to apply for a job. And he turned around and looked and he saw somebody running out of the back of the school book depository wearing a brown jacket, right? And a hat and then kind of take off. So it's possible that Hill saw the continuation of this first sighting. And I'm sorry, the name of the witness is escaping me momentarily. I'm sure one of our astute, lovely subscribers will help us out here a little bit. You know what I'm?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes,
it's right on the tip of my tongue who this dude was.
Yeah.
So it's possible that her story could marry up with this, and she's catching the continuation of this guy running towards the railroad yard.
Yeah, but a lot of people were running in that direction.
Right, and it does. Shots ring out. People don't all just freeze. Some of them will run, hit the deck, scream, or just stand there dumbfounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
everyone's or stay on the ground for 10 minutes and pose. Everyone's going to have a different reaction.
She thought the man was of average height and heavy build, so that narrows it down a little bit, right?
No, not Oswald.
Mrs. Hill then rejoined Mormon where she had left her, and they started to leave the area. They were stopped by Mr. Featherstone, the Dallas reporter, who took them to the press room at the Dallas County Sheriff's Office. Hill stated she and Mormon were at the sheriff's office for 2 hours and were questioned repeatedly by representatives of the press and various federal and local law enforcement officers. She said the sheriff's office was a scene, extreme confusion, and it was impossible to remember what questions were asked of her by the Secret Service agents and FBI agents. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably crazy town in there,
Yeah. Well, I have her interview queued up as well as her first day affidavit, DPD, and FBI when you are ready, sir.
Well, we've already talked about all that, Joe. So
Mormon?
What are you talking? Oh, Mormon. I thought you meant Hill.
No, Mormons.
We're still on Hill.
Okay.
Mrs. Hill advised that there was a month ago she received a call from Mark Lane, a New York attorney who questioned her regarding the assassination. Hill stated that from reading some of Lane's statements regarding this conversation, she determined that Lane had taken some of her remarks out of context, thus changing the meaning of her replies, had not used her full answers to some of the questions, and had misquoted her in the conversation. Mrs. Hill stated that Lane had asked her occupation, and she replied that she was a housewife. This point was pressed by Lane, and Hill told him she did some substitute teaching. Lane told her this was great because teachers made very good witnesses. Right?
Incredible. Yeah. In theory.
Yeah.
In theory.
Now, this is not the only complaint lodged against Mark Lane from these witnesses, as you will see as we continue on a little bit. But before we get there, I do have two more things on Gene Hill, Joseph, that we're going to check out here real quick.
Okay.
And let's see. Which one am I looking for here? Here is Gene Hill in a much older phase of her life, Joe, if you will. You ready? Here we go.
Oh, in the bushes on the grassy knoll, right at the top of the grassy knoll, and thought
Now she's
that's
spoke
where
up
the
there.
shots were coming from.
And by the
But
way,
I thought they were all coming from this direction in front of me and even toward the railroad tracks, really. But I mean, I saw the smoke at the in the bushes.
any time did you consider shots came from the building?
No, I really didn't. I mean, I've heard that since then, and heard it at the time. So I said, well, I've even told people, well, I guess maybe I just couldn't believe my own ears.
Gary, let me point out something here too. It'd be senseless to get her to go walk over there and point or anything, especially now that we've talked so much about Badman or anything. But last month when she was here, everybody was here to verify this. We said
Whoa,
exactly
look at Jim Mars.
out where you saw this puff of smoke,
Wow,
this
and
activity,
even noticed
have
it.
some kind of movement behind the fence, and she went and
Recognized it.
pointed to the north leg of the
Pants are
fence,
tight, Joe.
about 10 feet north.
Got the wrinkles on his
Exact
mule.
location of Badman.
But I didn't know what they were talking about then.
That's right. That was before she was even aware. Okay, so now you decided to change.
Yeah, boy. What the hell was that? Whew. Jim Mars had some tight pants on back then when he was pre-grade a little bit. He still had a little black in his beard and his hair.
Yeah.
Wowzer. Whew. But again, this is Hill adding to her story. Now she saw smoke in the bushes on the grassy knoll, which she never said before.
Mm-hmm. And she also has said that she saw a man running from behind the knoll in her book in, I believe, 1982.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Okay.
But before that, in 1967, Joe, Garrison's people interviewed Gene Hill
Mm-hmm.
in Dallas in 1967. And this is what she had to say.
Okay.
Mrs. Gene Hill gave us more trouble than all the other witnesses put together. This is their report about her interview. Okay. She consulted with her lawyer before we arrived and had also checked that we were from the DA's office, scrutinized our credentials, and when we spoke to her in her living room, she essentially played games with us, did not go into any of her testimony at all, and is evidently extremely reluctant to testify. However, she does stress that if she is compelled to testify, that she will not change her story. She will tell the same story that she told the Warren Commission. She did say that her testimony printed in the 26 volumes is not entirely correct, though, and that it was taken down incorrectly or printed incorrectly. However, I do have some reservations about this, and in general, it's difficult to form a reliable opinion about Mrs. Hill, what kind of person she is, and what her game is, because she does seem to have some kind of a game, Joe. However, essentially, she seems to be trying to disengage herself from the assassination subject for reasons that she would not disclose. She did stress that this was in contrast to her earlier attitude when she was, as she said, a crusader on the subject and was trying to see something done about it. She said when she heard the news that Garrison investigation had started, she was delighted, but something since then, and I don't think it has anything to do with Garrison, but it seems to have something to do with her personal life, has made her very sharply change her mind, and she doesn't really want to talk to anybody and told us that she didn't have to talk to us and so on. One of the few things that Mrs. Hill did concede was that she had heard from 4 to 6 shots and we showed her a part of the testimony about the direction of the shots, in which she told Spectre that the shots sounded like they had come from the knoll, and she read that and said that that was correct. Therefore, I think she can be relied on if she testifies to repeat this, and certainly neither Al nor I got the impression that she's the kind of person who would deliberately change her impression. Going over what she said about the shots again, she said there were definitely no less than 4 and up to 6. There are 2 courses of action which can be taken in regard to Ms. Hill. Number 1, we can ignore the bitch and overlook her as a witness in view of the fact that it's possible that she might give us trouble. Number 2, she can be simply subpoenaed, possibly for the day she's due to testify, and at that time when she's in New Orleans, she may be prepared to go over the ground beforehand with Al Oser or some other member of the staff. If it looks as though we're going to be short of witnesses, I would recommend that the best thing to do is to subpoena her. It may be the best thing anyway, because although she was difficult, I think as a witness, she is quite likely to make a good impression. And when she gets to New Orleans and gets away from her problems in Dallas, I think she will be more open and cooperative. And even then, if she doesn't cooperate before testifying, she needn't be put on the witness stand. It's also to be noted that she corroborates Mrs. Walters' position of there being 4 shots. Mrs. Hill's position in Dealey Plaza was on the south side of Elm Street facing Zapruder. She was accompanied by Mary Mormon, who took 2 Polaroid photographs of the assassination. Incidentally, she appears to have a certain grudge against Mrs. Mormon, and she said, quote, "We were friends until after the Warren Commission." This is, of course, true because Jean Hill started with her stories, and Mormon didn't want to play those reindeer games, Joe.
Very possibly. Very possibly.
And for those of you wondering, Jean Hill has since passed, but Mary Mormon, at this moment in time here on October 24th, 2025, because could be any time, but Mary Mormon is still very much alive and very sharp in the head and very nice. She's on Facebook and she does talk to people and answer questions. She's very, very sweet lady. So check her out. Now, 2 last things. Tell her Big Bad Bob sent you. She loves me. Two more real quick things on Jean Hill here, Joe.
Okay.
Now, apparently, there is another interview of her on TV, which you don't have. And I'm trying to figure out when it was. But what it says here is on November 22nd, when JFK was assassinated, information and news disseminated attained unprecedented heights. Eyewitnesses and newsmen seemed to provide the most accurate accounts of what was going on. These include Mary Woodward, Roger Craig, Malcolm Kilduff, Seth Cantor, Jean Hill, and others. Gave us immediate impressions that, when analyzed, give a true portrait of what was really happening that day. Allegedly. Buried within NBC's video library, I happened to come across an interesting exchange and situation that hits towards some very disturbing circumstances that day. At 2:21 p.m. Eastern Time, Bill Ryan, still trying to grasp what was happening, was suddenly patched into WBAP TV in Fort Worth as the nation was still reeling from the news of the president's assassination. Ryan says, now, for late details, we go to newsman Tom Whalen at WBAP TV, Fort Worth. Hi, this is Tom Whalen in Fort Worth. WBAP newsman Jimmy Darnell in Dallas on the scene of the presidential shooting. The shooting, which President Kennedy and Governor Connolly were shot, has eyewitness interview with a Mrs. Jean Hill. Here's the interview. So as this guy Wallen is watching the interview, he makes some very strange gestures after she starts talking. They look a little bit like this, Joe.
Cutting of the throat.
So it happens once during the interview. It happens a second time as Gene Hill says, "It was just east of the underpass." Darnell says, "Uh-huh." Hill says, "Yeah, on the south side." Darnell says, "Did you see? Did you look up there where the shots came from?" Hill says, "Yes, sir." Darnell, "Could you see anyone?" Hill, "I thought I saw this man running." And Waylon, the newsman's doing this again. Right? The third time, Waylon's third reaction, using the cut signal to emphasize that he wants Gene Hill off the air immediately. The assassination was not even an hour old, and Waylon and or NBC seemed to actively be trying to suppress any mention of the shots from the hill, hence from the front. Why so early? And you got to remember, Joe, Jimmy Darnell was in Dealey Plaza taking video footage.
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah, it's one of the films that Luna's trying to get now, right? The original.
Yeah. Now, I could not find any HSCA testimony for Gene Hill. I don't know if they tried to contact her or could not contact her, but it seems to me like after the Garrison fiasco that she was pretty much done with official investigations and wanted to tell her own story. Hence, she wrote a book, Joe, The Last Dissenting Witness.
Yes.
And of this book, producer Craig Anderson has acquired the rights to 3 books he'll develop as TV movies under an overall deal with Columbia Pictures TV, including the book JFK, The Last Dissenting Witness, about a woman, a lonely housewife, a substitute teacher who allegedly spotted a second gunman during the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The JFK project is based on a book by Gene Hill, who claimed that she was pressured by the government to remain silent, and Bill Sloan. The movie is in development at ABC, which is also developing the book JFK Reckless Youth as a 4-hour miniseries through the Polone Company. Anderson also plans to produce Peter Kerst's novel, American Cassandra, a biography of journalist Dorothy Thompson, as a CBS movie to star Nancy McKeon from the show Facts of Life. Joe's like, what the hell is that? And associated with Forest Hills Entertainment. In addition, the producer has secured rights to, quote, A Jealous Woman by novelist James Cain, who wrote Double Indemnity and The Postman Always Rings Twice, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Last season, Anderson executive produced Hallmark Hall of Fame production Oh Pioneers and produced the telefilm Secrets, both for CBS. But there was never a Last Dissenting Witness movie made, but the rights to the book were purchased, so she made money anyway off the rights of the movie rights to her book.
I see.
So when we're talking about book sales, we're talking about movie deals. She made her money. She went on to go. She was on Maury Povich for some kind of special in like the late 80s, early 90s. We might catch some footage of that on Wednesday night. But it's a little longer, on the long side, about 10 minutes or so, but might save that for members only.
Right.
Yeah, man. Gene Hill.
It changed a lot.
Yeah, and of course, I believe her story also changed. You know, when all this Roscoe Hill shit or Roscoe White shit was coming out in like the late 80s, early 90s, right around the time of the movie.
the Badge Man shit.
Yeah. And you know, she said that she saw Roscoe White up on the grassy knoll
and the puff of smoke. Yeah. She seems to like just take on a lot of the facts that had come out since to corroborate her story. You know.
Thank you, Trey. If you were here right now, I would kiss you on your Shreveport lips.
I was waiting to.
Randolph Carr.
I was waiting for you to finish your rant there.
Thank you.
But yes, that is exactly. Thank you, Trey. We have some very smart listeners. That's for sure. So
got a better brain memory than me, bro.
Yeah, and me. But yeah, man, it's and that's why we're really going through day of videos and interviews. And speaking of which, let's check out her babe friend Mary Mormon on day of.
The lovely, sexy Mary Mormon, according to Joe.
They're both good looking.
This is when we play the video of Sally, Joe. What are you doing?
There were many witnesses to the assassination. Many of them people who had come to town early in the day to find a place to watch the president and the first lady. And I talked to one who saw it happen and took a picture.
And I took the picture. It so happened my picture, when I took it, was at the same instant that the president was hit. And that does show in my picture.
What does the picture look like?
It shows the president, he slumped. Jackie Kennedy was leaning towards him to see. I guess it all happened so suddenly, I don't think anyone realized, what had happened.
Did you realize what had happened when you heard the shot?
No, I didn't. There was, 3 or 4 real close together. And it was, must have been the first one that shot him, because that was the time I took the picture. And during that time, after I took the picture, and the shots were still being fired, I decided I'd better get on the ground.
Did people lie down on the ground?
I just know about myself and the ones right close to me. And, well, really, I just know about myself.
You did lie down?
I did. I was no more than 15 foot from the car and in line of fire, evidently.
Did Mrs. Kennedy scream on the first shot?
I don't know about the first shot, but she did scream. She says, "My God, he's been hit, or he's been shot."
And the president fell in Mrs. Kennedy's arms?
No, I think he just slumped into the seat. She jumped up over him, and during the time when she jumped up, of course, the car sped away real fast.
Now, the picture you took, I understand the FBI has it now.
Yes, that's right.
Thank you very much. In addition, there were some 8mm color motion pictures taken.
All right, so that is pretty consistent with Miss Hills. I guess she did have 2 kids, but was not married at the time, as someone said, but in the comments. But it's consistent. Interesting, right?
It's nothing really salacious with the Mormon story. It's basically we were there. I think here's the thing that gets me, Joe. So,
well, the more shots after he was hit thing.
Well, allegedly, if we were to believe the official story, that the first shot missed.
Right.
And hit somewhere in the vicinity of the curb on the south side of Elm Street, where all these people are standing. Or it hit the sewer cover, or it went into the grass right there. We've all seen the pictures. We've seen the scrapes on the curb. We've seen the scrape by the sewer cover. We've seen the guys digging in the grass. We heard about the 3-finger wide trench between the babushka lady's legs. Now, it seemed to me, if you were standing over there and the first shot missed somewhere really close to you,
right?
Maybe you'd notice, maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. You got cameras up to your face. You're watching the president. Maybe you're not paying too much attention, but if it hit like the road or the curb or the sewer cover, or it would probably make some noise. Like you hear a shot and then ping or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just seems crazy to me. They're all in the line of fire and nothing. That's why I think the shot sequence is totally wrong. We've covered that here on the show before, but
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah. No. I completely agree, especially when you take into consideration the James Tague, right?
Don't take him into consideration, but yeah.
Well, I mean the shot that they attributed that to. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Then we get Mormons. Actually, let me go back. Mormons day of affidavit. Let's see what she said. And it's Miss Jean Hill and I were standing on the grass by the park on Elm between the underpass and the corner of Elm and Houston. I had a Polaroid camera with me and was intending to take pictures of President Kennedy and the motorcade. As the motorcade started towards me, I took 2 pictures. As President Kennedy was opposite me, I took a picture of him. As I snapped a picture of Kennedy, I heard a shot ring out. President Kennedy kind of slumped over. Then I heard another shot ring out, and Miss Kennedy jumped up in the car saying, "My God, he has been shot." When I heard these shots ring out... Hold on. Sorry. Ooh. Gotta move my button here. When I heard these shots ring out, I fell to the ground to keep from being hit myself. I heard 3 or 4 shots in all. After the pictures I took were developed, the picture of Kennedy showed him slumped over. When the pictures were developed, they came out real light. These pictures would have been turned over to officers investigating this incident. So, all right, that's her DPD. Let's check her FBI. Same day. It says 23, but it was taken on the 22nd. Marianne Mormon, blah, 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 blah. Elman, Maine, blah, 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 blah. She took this photograph with a Polaroid camera, and the photograph showed the police motorcycle escort preceding the president's car. In the background of this photograph, she said the TSBD was visible. Not really. She took a second photograph of the president as his automobile passed her, and just as she snapped this picture, she heard, at first thought was a firecracker. How many times have we heard that? And shortly after determined another similar sound, which she later determined to have been gunfire. She knows that she heard 2 shots and possibly a third shot. She recalls seeing the president sort of jump and start to slump, and then blah, blah, he's been shot. Miss Mormon states she and her companion fell to the ground, but does not recall what prompted her to fall, unless it was the reports and the commotion in the president's car. She must have instinctively realized there was a shooting. All the same that we've heard. I'm not going to repeat it. She stated that as the president's car drove off, she started to leave the grassy area and was stopped by a Mr. Featherstone, a newspaperman with the KRLD radio, which you just referred to, I believe, Rob. Miss Mormon advises that she saw no one in the area that appeared to have possibly been the assassin and can furnish no additional information. So, that is what Mary Mormon says.
Yeah, she's not very controversial. So she's pretty much stuck by her story all these years, and nothing crazy or nothing too crazy, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And like I said, at some point she did have a falling out with Jean Hill over Jean Hill's, I guess, wanting her to support her, what she was saying when things got a little crazy.
Yeah.
It was before the book.
Yeah, it was before the book for sure. But
it was before the Garrison investigation. So again, not too many years after the assassination, they had a falling out.
Yeah, for sure. So last, I have Mr. Brem, Mr. Charles Brem. And
CB.
This is an interesting one, Rob.
Yeah, because he has some complaints about Mark Lane later, we'll see.
Yes. And this is his interview with Mark Lane, and it also includes, in the middle of it, his same-day testimony. This is courtesy of JFK 63 Conspiracy Site.
Where were you on November 22nd, 1963?
I had taken my 5-year-old son downtown to see the presidential parade.
This is a picture taken by Mr. Nix of the limousine at the time the shots were fired. Do you see yourself and your boy in that picture?
Yes, sir. This is myself and this is my son on this frame here where the first shot hit the president. I would say that he was possibly 30 feet away when the first bullet struck, moved a little closer, and was possibly 20 to 25 feet away when the second bullet hit.
Did you see the effect of the bullets upon the president?
When the second bullet hit, there was the hair seemed to go flying. It was very definite then that he was struck in the head with the second bullet. And yes, sir, I very definitely saw effects of the second bullet.
Did you see any particles of the president's skull fly when the bullet struck him in the head?
I saw a piece fly over, in the area of the curb where I was standing.
And in which direction did that fly?
It seemed to have come left and back.
Back and to the left.
In other words, the skull particle flew to the left and to the rear of the presidential limousine.
Sir,
so you see where Brem is, right? Back and to his left. Right?
Yes.
Not back this way. But let's continue.
To the left and to the rear of the presidential limousine.
Sir, whatever it was that I saw did fall both in that direction and over into the curb there.
You were a ranger during the war, correct?
Yes, sir, I was a ranger during the war. Took part in the invasion of France and was shot a couple of times. So, as I say, it's possibly like swimming. I hadn't heard that sound for many a year, but you don't forget it once you've heard a shot rounding, coming close to you.
Did you speak with newsmen on November 22nd and tell them what you saw?
Yes, sir, and told them simply that their 2 shots had hit the president and the direction that I had thought the bullets had come from.
Did you at any time that day make a statement which was televised?
Yes, sir. Fortunately, I was probably 15 to 20 feet away from the president when it happened.
Tell us exactly what you saw, sir.
He was coming down the street, and my 5-year-old boy and myself were by ourselves on the grass there on Palmer Street, and I asked Joe to wave to him, and Joe waved, and I waved, and the man...
That's all right, sir.
You go ahead, Charlie. As he was waving back, the shot rang out, and he slumped down in the seat, and his wife reached up toward him, and as he was slumping down, and the second shot went off, and it just knocked him down from the seat. I'm positive it had hit him. I hope it didn't, but I'm positive that it hit him, and he went all the way down in the car. Then they speeded up, and I didn't know what was going on, so I just grabbed the boy and fell on him in hopes that there wasn't a maniac around. I'm sorry. I can't help you more, but I won't forget it.
Did you make a statement to the Dallas Sheriff's Office?
Yes, I did.
How long did you remain in the Dallas Sheriff's Office that day?
I was, say, about 3 hours to 4 hours.
Were you...
Okay. I want to stop there, Mr. Rob, because as we did give some credit for DPD doing some things right, there is no Brem document day of statement anywhere. In fact,
Correct.
the only reference is from a 1966 Playboy article that Mark Lane wrote, which I do have a slide of, that Brem later claimed that Lane, twisted his comments type of thing. So, interesting, right? The dude, and listen, I said this earlier, if I'm going to trust an Army Ranger who fought or parachuted into France and Germany during World War II, or these two hot girls, Brem would probably be the one I would take the most serious. And I can't find it.
Did you find his Warren Commission testimony?
No, because he was not called to the Warren Commission testimony, sir.
Really?
No.
Well, he would have made a fantastic witness for the Warren Commission. I don't know why he wasn't called.
I don't know either, sir. He would. I mean, you think they called everyone and their mother. We do, however, have November 25th, 1963 FBI report on Brem. I believe it was, do I have it here? Taken on the 24th. Okay, so the Saturday.
Noise.
Yep, yeah, right. Convenient. Everyone else taking day of. Him, well, let's wait a day, right? He and his 5-year-old son went downtown. We all know this. After the president's automobile rounded the corner into Houston Street, he picked up his 5-year-old son and ran across the grass from Main Street over to the downhill curved portion of Elm Street, which leads from Houston Street to the Stemmons Expressway, aka, seems like it's saying he's running towards the knoll. Am I wrong here?
Kinda.
I'm wrong?
No, it kind of sounds like that.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure. He and his son stood right at the curb on the grass. We know that as the car took a wide swing. The picture you showed at the beginning showed him after he had covered his son, allegedly, when the president's automobile was very close to him and he could see the president's face very well. The president was seated, leaning forward when he was stiffened. Perceptually. Bro, this gets in my head, and I just perceptibly, yes.
It's definitely spelled wrong. It should be
he was perceptive.
He was visibly stiffened.
Yeah, right. If he was looking at at Hill and Mormon, I wouldn't blame him. He was kind of near them. According to Brem, the president seemed to stiffen. I didn't get to that part. And a lot
of stiffening going on around here.
Brem said when the president was hit by the second shot, he could notice the president's hair fly up. So here you have the Army Ranger saying it was the second shot that actually was the headshot. And then roll over to his side as Mrs. Kennedy was apparently pulling him in that direction. Brem said that a third shot followed and that all three shots were relatively close together. Brem stated that he was in the military service and he had experience with bolt-action rifles, which he would have. And he expressed his opinion that the three shots were fired just about as quickly as an individual can maneuver a bolt-action rifle. Take aim and fire 3 shots.
Never heard of those FBI agents before. They must have sent a Skafusa crew over to interview him.
You got Willie Johnson, bro.
And
I haven't either. You know what? It's so funny you mentioned that. When I clipped this document, I thought the same thing in my head. I said, I haven't heard of these guys before. And I just like, yeah. That's really funny you mentioned it. He definitely knew that the president had been shot, recalled having seen blood on the president's face. He also stated it seemed quite apparent to him that the shots came from one of two buildings back at the corner of Elm and Houston Streets. Immediately after the third shot rang out, Brem pushed his son down on the grass. We know that. Brem expressed his opinion that between the first and third shots, the president's car only seemed to move some 10 to 12 feet. Almost came to a halt after the first shot, but of this he is not concerned. After the third shot, the car in which the president was riding increased its speed. As soon as the president's car went on its way, numerous reporters and police officers came running down the hill to the general area where he was standing, and many of them gathered around him and began asking him questions. He estimated that he was detained at the police department for a period of 2 hours. All right, might have gotten an hour or two wrong before he was finally permitted to leave. So, where is Charles Brem's same-day affidavit, which we have been able to pull up almost every witness's, Rob?
Yeah.
And
it doesn't exist, or it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. So I'm going to end with this, Rob. It definitely doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to end with this, and I think this is a couple years later, and this is from the JFK Assassination Forum YouTube page, where he completely changes his story, kind of, or pushes back on kind of what Mark Lane said.
Well, now, some critics of the Warren Report have taken your testimony or interviews with you to indicate that you thought the shots came from behind the fence over there. What about that?
Well, sir, it was not a number of critics. It was one critic, Mark Lane, who takes very great liberties with adding to my quotation. I never said that any shot came from here like I was quoted by Mr. Lane. Mr. Lane would like me to have positively identified what I saw fly over here as skull, although I told him I could not. I did not examine. I thought it was, but I could not. So he has added his interpretations to what I said, and consequently that's where the story comes from, that I said that a shot come from up there. No shot came from up there at any time during the whole fiasco that afternoon.
Sounds to me, Rob, like someone got to him very early on.
Mark Lane with the pliers in the study.
Yeah, but he said he spent hours at DPD, and where is it?
We don't know. And like I said, I don't think how he can accuse Mark Lane of twisting his words when Mark Lane had him on video saying everything. Now, maybe some of it was edited, but at no point during that Mark Lane interview from the Rush to Judgment did he say that he thought the shots came from the knoll. He always said that he thought they came from the building, So I don't know what he's talking about there.
It's weird, man. It is weird.
Mark Lane changes his story in his book. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. And like we've talked about, he would have been the most reliable witness out of the three we have discussed tonight on the other side of the street, right?
Yeah. And you look at DeLuga asked, how did so many people get very quickly from Maine and Houston to the opposing side of the grassy knoll? They ran. You look up?
Yeah.
If you've ever been to Dealey Plaza, it really is not that big. It looks big in the movies and pictures, but in reality, it's not that big. You could probably run from Main Street or Houston Street. You could probably run from Houston Street to where these people were standing on Elm probably in about 15 seconds, 10-15 seconds if you're running. I mean, it really wasn't that far. It looks, Dealey Plaza looks so much bigger than it really is. I mean, if you ever go there, you'd be like, holy shit, this is pretty small.
It is.
You know?
Yeah. You look behind the corner of the fence. It's a very easy shot, even moving targets. So Rob, I have a bunch of pinned comments I've been wanting to get to.
We'll get to them then, damn it.
All right. Peaches is kind of giving me a little bit of a hard time, but I still love you, Peaches. One day Joe will learn that Thanksgiving is on a Thursday. No, that's not what happened. There was a typo of one day.
You leave Ann alone.
There was a typo of one day. And
I highlighted on a Thursday, Joe.
I highlighted a comment of Mr. Trey, and we determined it was not. I do know it is on a Thursday. He probably knows a few things about gunfire. Yeah, and he's talking about a Brem. Yeah. Also, very, very positive and consistent that the second shot was the headshot. So, like I said, the whole sequence is a mess. I've read Mr. Jack Taylor. I've read Gene Hill's book. Interesting, if even half of it is true, with manipulation after the assassination. Yeah, so I listened to another JFK podcast that read the first chapter of it, and it is like, let's exaggerate everything. It's like, as the car turned, my heart beated faster, and you know what I mean? Like, it's...
And I don't know if half of it's true, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And then that's why we're only going through first day statements here, or early statements. Rangers lead the way, all the way. I think that's the term. Relating to Brem.
All the way with JFK.
Yeah. I don't buy anything. Moose Heaven, how are you? I don't buy anything Gene Hill says. She changed her story multiple times over the years. Yes.
It's a valid argument.
This was like an hour or two ago. An hour and a half ago.
Still a valid argument.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. Even Mary said Gene was nuts.
Yeah.
Want to say hi to Slacker Dan coming in. What's up, buddy?
What's up, SD?
Probably one shot in an echo. I mean, there definitely was the echo effect.
But everybody says the first shot sounded like a firecracker, like a pussy shot, you know, like.
And almost everyone said the second and third shot were much closer together than the first shot.
Boom.
Which would make a bolt action rifle. Third shot being some perfect headshot by someone who was a fucking shitty shooter. Not likely. Roger said what up. He popped in earlier. I started.
Lee Harold.
How are you, sir?
In the house. Our very own music man. Still waiting on the new theme song, sir. I'm kidding. At your leisure, Roger.
Umbrella Man. Dark complected man was 20 feet at most from the headshot. He's probably even closer.
He was in the street, bro.
Yeah. But no one has ever...
He was on the side of Elm Street standing in the street.
Yeah. Where was...
Maybe where too, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he would know. He's Umbrella Man, who was next to Dark complected man.
He's about 10.
Even though Jim Featherstone is spotted in WFA footage talking to Dark complected man. Yep. No. No same-day statement from dark complected man. That is for sure. It is.
Don't even know who he is, much like Babushka Lady.
It is weird how that works, huh? My point exactly. I don't know exactly why I started that, but I agree with you. Tiny. Occam's razor is Jean Hill just makes shit up. Mary said as much about her. Well, yeah, I mean, listen, their same day statements like line up ish. You know what I mean? And that's why we're not going into the book or anything like that, because you know our rule here. We focus on first day or earliest statements or reports. Jack Taylor, Jean was 32 and single, rare at that time. Wonder what the heck was wrong with her.
You can't turn her into a housewife.
I could have fixed her, Rob. I could have fixed her.
I think Ruth Payne could have fixed her.
Lucky my girlfriend is out to dinner right now. A graduate of the Scafuza Academy. Again, I started this a while ago, but I'm sure it was Jean Hill or someone.
Or you.
Or me.
He's not only a graduate, he's the president of the Scafuza Academy.
Yes. Yeah, and
he's also a client.
And Tiny said, Army Rangers lead the way, and I already finished your statement, because that's what they say, all the way. You see that in Black Hawk Down, for example. I'm sure the Army paid him a visit. It sure seems like it. Something changed. Why isn't his... if he spent 3 hours... Listen, he doesn't seem like a liar to me, Rob. Does he seem to you?
No, he seems very fixated on his story, though, and very traumatized by what he saw.
Right. Yeah. No. The day of interview, he's like almost crying. He's like, I can't talk about this anymore. He just saw the president get his head blown off fucking 15 feet away from him.
Imagine what his 5-year-old kid freaking thinking.
But he said he was at the station for 4 hours and then 2 hours. And where is the same day statement? Where is it? Where's, dark complected man? Everyone else has statements. It seems like they excluded things. And might not have even been the DPD. Could have been FBI. Who the hell knows? So, as usual, I hope we didn't confuse you more. We did. But we thought it'd be interesting to go through those 3 witnesses in their first day interviews.
We have 4, actually, Joe, not just 3.
Okay. Give it to me.
We have Ike Altgens. Since he was over there, too, I figured I would see what I could find out about what he said.
Okay.
He saw. So let's hear from Ike Altgens. James Ike Altgens. Let's hear from him on this little video from David Von Penis's channel.
Associated Press photographer James Altgens was actually looking toward the book depository.
As I was getting ready to make some pictures, I heard this noise. I thought it was a firecracker explosion. I just went ahead and made the picture, which shows the president right after he was struck by a bullet, struck in the neck, the first shot. And this was a picture that the Warren report later fixed as being made 2 seconds after the shot was fired. And as they got in close to me, and I was prepared to make the picture, I had my camera almost at eye level. That's when the president was shot in the head. And I do know that the president was still in an upright position, tilted, favoring Mrs. Kennedy. And at the time that he was struck by this blow to the head, it was so obvious that it came from behind. It had to come from behind, because it caused him to bolt forward. dislodging him from this depression in the seat cushion and already favoring Mrs. Kennedy, he automatically fell in that direction. The one thing that did seem to be a little bit strange, immediately after the car proceeded on to Parkland Hospital, men with drawn guns ran up the terrace of this plaza up into what is considered to be and referred to as the knoll area, and thinking that they had the assassin cornered up in this knoll area. And it seemed rather strange, as I say, because knowing that the shot came from behind, this fella had to really move in order to get over into the knoll area.
You have no thoughts about another assassin behind the fence or on the knoll?
I've had a lot of people to contact me, and that they felt there was another person involved in trying to get me to verify either photographs they had or to work out some information they felt they had come across to substantiate the evidence substantiate the fact that there was another assassin. But at no time has any of this evidence proved to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was another assassin.
Wow. I never knew Alkins had that opinion.
Yeah. And it's funny that he saw what Dan Rather saw and nobody else saw, of the president going forward when he was hit from behind. Because he states it very matter of factly. I know that he was shot from behind, blah, blah, blah. So very interesting testimony from Mr. Alchins, I believe, right?
Fascinating. Thank you for that.
Now, well, that's not all. But that's what he said years later. But let's go back in time a little bit, Joe.
Yeah, he looked older there.
Yeah. That was from the early 70s. So he was about 10 years younger at the time of the assassination. But of course, his Alchin 6 photo that they showed here, garnered him a lot of attention. Like, it's one of those Pulitzer worthy or whatever photography award there is,
Yeah.
Because of what it captures in the moment in time and the history of it.
Is it a Pulitzer or no?
Is it a Pulitzer?
I don't know. Chat, correct us.
You Google a Pulitzer Prize.
I think that's an article, newspaper article. It's something else.
Oh, why don't you ask Grok what it is?
I'm just going to ask Google.
Now, again, much like Charles Brim, Joe, there was no first day affidavit from James Ike Alchins, which is odd to me because he took a couple iconic pictures there in Dealey Plaza. He's clearly almost beside the limousine at the time of the shots. He's looking through his viewfinder. He misses the mark on the headshot for whatever reason, whether the shot startled him or he just couldn't get it up quick enough. That's what she said. I don't know, but yeah, no statement. And he was also not called immediately before the Warren Commission. And he wasn't slated to be called before the Warren Commission, but critics started pointing out that this is odd. Why no first day testimony, and why are they not interviewing this guy for the Warren Commission? So on May 25th, 1964, a Chicago newspaper called the Chicago American put out something in its column, The Daily Diary, saying, "Isn't it odd that J.W. Alchins, a veteran Associated Press photographer in Dallas who took a picture of the Kennedy assassination, one of the witnesses close enough to see the president shot and be able to describe second by second what happened, has not been questioned either by the Dallas police, the FBI, or the Warren Commission. Isn't that interesting, Joe?
Yeah.
Now, au contraire, mon frere, they did talk to Ike Alchins, but it wasn't about what he saw. It was about his fucking photograph that he took, right? Because that's more important than asking the man who actually took the photo. He was standing there in Dealey Plaza, 10 feet away from the limousine at the time of the shot, headshot.
Right. And did they bury the report in the index somewhere?
Well, J. Edgar Hoover ended up writing a letter to J. Lee Rankin. Because apparently this came to the attention of J. Edgar Hoover. And it says, "Dear Mr. Rankin, reference is made to your letter dated February 24 and my letter dated March 9th relating to information furnished by Mr. Jones Harris of New York involving Mr. Billy Nolan Lovelady's identification in a photograph taken by an Associated Press photographer.
Right.
Enclosed are 2 copies of an article which appeared in the magazine section of the May 24th, 64 issue of the New York Herald Tribune. This article is written by Mr. Dom Bonafodi. Relates to the photograph involving Lovelady. It would appear from the above article that Alchins, the Associated Press photographer, is the individual who took the picture in question, and efforts are being made to locate and interview him. When the results of this interview are available, you will be appropriately advised. The enclosed article is furnished in view of your prior interest in Mr. Jones Harris. Sincerely yours, J. Edgar." Now, the article that was written in the New York newspaper by Dom Bonafede is called "The Picture with a Life of Its Own." And it's all about the Alchins 6 and the apparent confusion and assertion that critics were saying that it captured the likeness of Lee Harvey Oswald in the doorway of the school book depository at the time of the shots, when in fact it was clearly Billy Lovelady. But again, people back then, they went with what they thought. You know, they weren't poring over this thing with microscopes. You know, hey, damn, that looks like Oswald. Hey, it could be Oswald. Let's run with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for anyone interested in that article, you should look it up. It's 6 pages long here, so I'm not going to read it. But again, it was brought to the attention of the FBI, who then brought it to the attention of the Warren Commission. And in turn, they finally, in June of 64, sent the FBI to interview Ike Alchins in Dallas. And here's what that says.
June of 64.
Yeah. Let's see. He works for the Associated Press at the Dallas News Building in Dallas, Texas, for the past 26 years. Alchins was born April 28th, 1919 at Dallas, Texas. Alchins advised that on November 22nd, he was assigned by the AP to take up a position along the motorcade route for the purpose of obtaining pictures of the president and the motorcade. Alchins related that he left his office at 11:15 a.m. and proceeded to the triple overpass area of Elm and Main Streets, where he intended to take his pictures from. He said he arrived there about 11:25 and was advised by uniformed police officers there that even though he had press credentials, he would not be permitted to take photographs from up on the triple overpass. Alchins stated he then went to the intersection of Main and Houston, arriving there at approximately 11:40. He said he remained at this location until the motorcade arrived. Just before the limo passed, Alchins stated he stationed himself at the intersection on the southwest side and took a picture of President and Mrs. Kennedy as their limousine turned onto Houston. And then, of course, he ran diagonally northwest downhill over the grassy area that separates Main and Elm and stopped on the south side of Elm Street, across the street from the stairs leading down from the colonnade located on the north side of Elm Street, to get in front of the motorcade again. So again, Dealey Plaza is so small that he took pictures of the motorcade as it passed him, turning from Maine onto Houston. And then he ran across the grass over to Elm before the limousine had went the rest of the way up Houston and turned on Elm and started coming down Elm.
Right.
So he beat the limousine over to Elm Street, right?
Yeah, he probably ran diagonally, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Trey, for clarifying that a Pulitzer could be awarded in 23 different categories, including photography. So there you go. Thank you, Trey.
Thank you for vindicating me.
So just before the limousine passed, Alton said that he had stationed himself in the intersection of the southwest side and took a picture. Alton's advised he then ran diagonally, blah, blah, blah. Stated it was from this position that he took pictures of the president and motorcade scene. He said this picture also depicts an individual standing in the doorway that resembles Lee Harvey Oswald. Alton's related that he was standing about 30 feet from the president when he took this photograph. He recalled that at about the instant he snapped the picture, he heard a burst of noises which he thought was firecrackers. He advised he does not know how many of these reports he heard, since they had no significance to him at the time. He was unaware of what was happening. After taking the above photograph, Alton stated that he then turned his film from in his camera, adjusted the focus to 15 feet, and was raising his camera again to eye level when he heard another report, which he recognized as a gunshot. So no more firecracker noise. Now he realizes, oh shit, this is a gunshot.
Mm-hmm.
He said the bullet struck Kennedy on the right side of his head, and the impact knocked the president forward. Alton stated pieces of flesh, blood, and bone appeared to fly from the right side of the president's head and pass in front of Mrs. Kennedy to the left of the limousine. Alton stated Mrs. Kennedy grabbed the president, and Alton's heard her scream, "Oh no!" as the president slumped over into her lap. Alton said he also observed blood on the left side of the president's head and face. Alton stated he was staring in utter disbelief at what had just happened and was so aghast that he froze and did not snap the picture
of the head headshot.
Alton's advised he was about 15 feet from the president at this time. He was sure the shot came from somewhere behind the president and is positive that this was the last shot fired. He said the president's car was proceeding at about 10 miles an hour at this time. He advised that he did not know Connolly had been shot at the time, as his attention had been focused on the president. Alton stated the driver of the limo apparently realized what had happened and sped up toward the Stemmons freeway. At this point, Alton's advised he took a photograph which depicted a Secret Service man standing on the back of the limousine, left side, assisting Mrs. Kennedy back to her seat. Alton stated the whole area seemed to be utter confusion. Police came from everywhere as the president's car disappeared from sight. Alton's advised that as the president's car disappeared, he observed some Secret Service agents and police with drawn guns on the north side of Elm Street running in the direction of the top of the triple overpass. So again, there were no Secret Service agents on the ground in Dealey Plaza immediately after the shot. So I don't know what made Alton think that they were Secret Service agents. Don't know. After proceeding across Elm Street and up towards the overpass, Alton stated that he met the police officers returning. At this juncture, Alton's advised he then ran to a nearby telephone and informed his office that the president had been shot and they had witnessed it. He then sprinted to his office in the Dallas News building with the pictures he'd taken. Right. And Alton stated the pictures showing the president slumping in his seat with Mrs. Kennedy bending over him moved onto the Associated Press wire photo network at 12:57 p.m., which was 17 minutes after the first news bulletin was sent out by the Associated Press of the shooting. Alton's advised the above three pictures he took were all turned in to the AP and received wide publication and circulation, both in the U.S. and abroad. Alston said he used a 35 millimeter Nicorex camera with a 105 millimeter lens telephoto. He said the camera was loaded with Eastman Kodak Tri-X film. Regarding the article which appeared in the magazine section, written by Don Benefitti, captioned "The Picture with a Life of Its Own," Alston related the following. On May 11th, while he was at his residence, he received a phone call from an individual who identified himself as Don Benefitti. He said he was staying at the Adolphus in room 1210 and was in Dallas doing a story on the AP photograph taken by Alston, wherein it appeared that an individual in the doorway of the depository resembled Lee Harvey Oswald. Alston said Benefitti informed him that he had been to Washington and to the President's Commission and had seen a blown-up shot of the picture. Alston stated Benefitti asked him a number of questions about the picture, about his position at the time he took the photo, and what he witnessed of the assassination. Alston said he answered his questions for Benefitti, and he said Benefitti also asked him a number of questions about how the people of Dallas felt about the assassination of President Kennedy in Dallas and what effect the assassination would have on the city itself. Alston stated that on May 14th, Benefitti again telephoned him at his residence and went over some of the questions he had previously asked, in addition to asking him other questions. Alston stated that he did not know and he did not have any contact with Benefitti prior to May 11th and none subsequent to May 14th. He stated that Benefitti had told him that if he were going to quote him directly, that he would call and clear any quotes with Alston. Alston said he never received any call in which he cleared any quotes. So then, Alston's advised on May 21st at about 11:30 p.m. he received a phone call at his residence. That's very late, 11:30 p.m. from an individual who identified himself as John Gold of the, quote, London Evening News. And then he says he presumed that Gold was telephoning from New York City. Now, why he presumed that, I don't know. But what's interesting, Joe, is that the name John Gold was used as a pseudonym for Fred Crispin when he was on the Tacoma radio show. He hosted a radio show in Tacoma under the pseudonym John Gold. Fred Lee Crispin did. Wild.
Wow.
And he said Gold informed him that Benefitti had written an article and that it was going to appear in the magazine section of the New York Herald Tribune on May 24th. Alston stated that he knew the article written would be published, but said this was the first info he had received as to when the article would be published. And he goes on to say he's never had any contact with Jones Harris, Arnold Krakauer, or Bill Beckman. These are obviously early assassination buffs, all mentioned in the above article by Benefitti.
Yeah.
Alston stated he does not know to his knowledge and never had any contact with either Lee Harvey Oswald or Jack Ruby. So then in July of 1964, he finally gets a letter from the Warren Commission and asks him to testify before them on July 16th, 1964. Okay.
Let me guess. In Dallas, Joseph Ball.
Was it?
I don't know. I was just a random guess.
Nope, Rankin.
Okay. Oh, that's important then if Rankin's doing it.
Yep. So then they send the FBI out again to interview Ike Alston on June 3rd, 1964, to which he maintains his previous story pretty much verbatim. The only change here is he's stating that he advised that he does not know how many of the reports that he heard, since they had no significance to him at the time and he was unaware of what was happening. He doesn't know how many shots were fired, and he's basically just telling them what he did and saw again briefly. And interestingly enough, Joe, we have two more Scafuso FBI agents who they sent to interview this guy, named Raymond Switzer and Eugene Petrakis. special agents of the FB and the I, Joe.
Interesting. Yeah.
2 more scafoozes that we never heard of.
And I did do a quick search. It's up on the screen now of Alkins in the DPD archives that we find.
Nothing.
Not one result.
Yep. Told you.
So, and not someone who was not known to have been there, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's literally there
making phone calls.
I'm surprised he didn't run across the street with all the other guys and take pictures of the Newmans.
Yeah, or even better, went further up the knoll. Got some good pictures there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, listen, the few people who weren't interviewed or even found, Dark Complected Man, Umbrella Man, Babushka Lady, all major suspects. And what about the Letterman jacket teenagers? Do you know about this?
Yeah, they were kind of hanging out up in the on the opposite side of the deal from Zapruder. The what do you call it? The monument back there.
Yeah.
They were like on the other side of it. It's kind of U-shaped. The Zapruder's all the way on the left on the balustrade there, sticking out.
Yeah.
Is in these Letterman jackets that look like ram's horns. I think they were like maroon and white or something.
Yeah.
They turned out to be skipping school from a local high school there in Dallas, and they've been identified. Nothing very conspiratorial there with those kids.
Yeah.
Again, they were high school kids.
Yeah.
Skipping school.
Yeah, I mean, Dark Complected Man, definitely a suspect. Umbrella Man, definitely a suspect. When we talk about possibly the reference to umbrella coverage that was promised over the Bay of Pigs. Invasion, Babushka Lady, I don't know how suspicious she could be. I think she...
What's suspicious that she never came forward.
Yeah, I mean...
Because it ain't Beverly Oliver, folks.
No, but in terms of like maybe not wanting to get into drama, or, we talked about how she allegedly did turn in her film and it was all shitty and it was blurred, but if she would have kept it, or if her family kept it, it could be fixed today with AI. We went through that when we went through the Babushka segment, but it's more interesting to me that the people that don't have day of affidavits could have really interesting things to say, right? Like Brem. Like Alkin.
Did the Newmans even have first day affidavits?
I mean, they had first day interview everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, but they weren't called before the Warren Commission.
Let me check, sir.
I mean, it's just a running theme that, it's odd that the people closest to the limousine at the time of the assassination were not interviewed by the Dallas police or sheriffs or called before the Warren Commission. What does that tell you?
Yeah. No, we have a first day affidavit for Newman. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just were not called before the Warren Commission.
It's weird. So many people so close by that are not like Babushka Lady. But like, you can't call her to the Warren Commission. You don't know who she is.
And again, I'm not saying these people are the best witnesses. I think in Bill Newman's interview on TV, he's like, and President Kennedy was shot in the back, and he stood straight up in the limousine, and
I mean,
which of course didn't do.
Yeah, I mean, witness testimony, as we talked about earlier, is witness testimony. It has to be taken with a grain of salt, and you have to evaluate every witness. And I remember asking Larry Hancock this when before we did our Marine episode, when you sent me a list of 100. I go, how do you pick which ones are credible or not? He goes, well, you just gotta take it case by case.
That's why we try to look at as many as possible who are in the same vicinity,
Right.
who were kind of had the same whatchamacallit, viewpoint.
Yeah.
And when you compare and contrast them all, it seems like everybody saw something different. But you got to remember, again, eyewitnesses are not that credible.
Right.
Because given the craziness of the situation, the fact that you're not anticipating what's ready to happen, the fact that you're not ready to cope with what's about ready to happen, the fact that people cope differently in these situations, and it's just a whole mess. You know, they do these very interesting eyewitness experiments all the time where, you know, they'll unexpectedly do something in a room full of people. Like somebody will bust in with a ski mask and take somebody's wallet, take the teacher's wallet,
right,
and run back out.
Yeah.
And they'll ask the class, like, okay, describe what just happened.
Yeah.
Describe what he was wearing. Describe what he said. And, you know, 20 different people will see 20 different things.
Yeah.
And insane.
Yes, I know exactly what experiment you are referring to. It's crazy. So you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to try to corroborate it, which is why we played all three of the people on that we know of on that side, or four actually. First day affidavits, DPD, FBI, and interviews. And we let these smart listeners and watchers of this show make up their own mind per usual.
Yes, we're not telling you to believe any of these people individually. Take it for what it's worth. You know, use your own good judgment when evaluating eyewitness testimony, and come to your own conclusions, folks. Because, you know, when you weigh these things out between each other, not much makes sense.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like we'll leave you confused, more confused than when we first started here.
Yeah.
That is the way,
Yeah.
as Goose says at some points,
Yeah,
you know.
Southwest says last comment. It's absolutely unbelievable that not every single person in the plaza was not identified. I mean, there's not really precedent for this. You have the motorcade speeding away. You have cops running around. Joe Smith crossing the middle. You know, cops running up the knoll. It's not surprising that a couple people slipped away. And yes, 62, almost 3 years later, I guess, it looks sus. You can make it look sus, but I'm actually
It's so big of a crime scene. There's way too many people that outweigh the number of cops that were there immediately.
Yeah.
And again, the cops are focused on trying to catch a shooter, shut down a building,
Yeah.
not necessarily talk to witnesses. It's the news people that were trying to grab witnesses and take them down to the office of the TV station.
That's where we get most of our evidence from. So it's not like super sus that a few people were able to slip away. I mean, Babushka lady could have just been some like 40-year-old lady. Like that.
Yeah, and if I was there, I probably wouldn't have said nothing to nobody, and I probably would have just left because, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
you might think you have nothing to add, you know, but you might have saw something that's important, but maybe in your mind, you might think, okay, well, that's over. And do I really want to spend the next 3 hours in the fucking sheriff's office?
Right. So not everyone's going to want to do that. Right.
Yeah. No, at that point, I'm probably going to want to get the hell out of there as quick as possible and go have a beer somewhere.
Yeah. And
be like, holy shit, what just happened? You know?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm interested in like people like the Army Intelligence and what was the other agency that we covered recently? That there's like no records for, that was all over the place. I'm blanking, but like those are the was it Forrestal? No. Yeah. Like there's a lot of a couple people that were caught in the TSBD, right, when they kind of closed it down. I mean, there's a lot of other people that are really weird in there, and no.
Well, yeah, you're talking military intelligence. And...
But no, Lansdale wasn't there. Prouty wasn't there.
Harvey wasn't there.
E. Howard Hunt wasn't there.
Frank Sturgis wasn't there.
Shoot, I don't have that one. Yeah, we can go on and on. But I think that's it, sir. 2:24:47 into it. We have a great time, as always. And we will be back with you on Halloween night. Not live, but we will be in the chat with the first of 6 weeks of the Lone Gunman Independent Research Month, which I think is going to be a really fun time. I think you guys are really going to, especially when it comes to what this dude and this dude are working on. November 21st. Set your calendars.
Yep, it's going to be a banger.
Yeah.
More banger than usual.
Yeah, you're going to be banged out.
Yes.
You're going to be banged out more than
blown. You'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You guys are such amazing researchers. No, but it'll be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's something I've never heard people posit before.
Right.
That are just some puzzle pieces that we've kind of put together and something that is worthy of reflection.
Yes.
Shall we say.
And ironically, we figured it out, or we got the idea by accident, which is sometimes how these things happen.
Yeah.
We stumbled upon it, as they would say.
Yeah. And we built upon it
Yes.
from the original.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. So, guys, we got a crazy 6 weeks coming. You're going to dig it. I promise. And, but of course, we'll be back before then with another book review and another live show next Wednesday for members only. But it is for all members, not just Covert Operation Above. Being it is the last Wednesday of the month.
It is.
Spooks can be there too. So if you are spooked, if you just got spooked and blessed by Brandon tonight with a membership, just know you got another show coming next Wednesday straight to you.
And about a year plus of other shows you can go back and watch on Wednesday.
Yeah, if you're a spook, and just go check out the playlist and click the members only tab, and you can go back and check out all the spook shows that we've ever done. So there's a little perks there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
thank you, the Double B, for your contribution.
Yes, we appreciate it.
And yeah, man, I'm pumped.
So with that being said, Joe, grab the little dog between your legs. And I'll grab Dino by the tie and drag him in here. Yeah, buddy. That's it, folks. Kitty's chilling. Ruby's like, "Hey, Joe, I need you outside, sir. Don't squeeze me too hard, please."
I've been calling her throughout the show and petting her so she doesn't know when she's going to get picked up and made to dance. Because if I call her at the end, she knows and not to come. Dogs are smart.
See you next week. Until then, thank you so much. Hit the goddamn like button on your way out the door, please. Please. Please.
Yes, Ruby would like that.
Yes.
So she can eat.
Yes. Please help support starving dogs in Africa, Connecticut. Thank you. See you soon. Peace.